I am so excited. This whole section is basically the bush in New Zealand, in the South Island of New Zealand that I grew up. I used to go native, pretty much, bush.
We are at Lullingstone Castle in the New Zealand section of the World Garden. I'm here with Lena Robinson of Floralicious, whom you may well have seen gracing the internet with her plant photography and general joyful celebration of the natural world.
You've got coprosmas, you've got, I think, the sort of a fuchsia type thing. There's loads of different New Zealand plants in here. Follow me. These are amazing. Look at this. This is one that Sonia and I talk a lot about, actually. We keep finding it in gardens, don't we? Which is absolutely amazing. We've found it in small pots, which I think the first one we saw was at the South London Botanical Institute. It was in a little tiny pot on a wall.
Yeah, Lena and I have an ongoing conversation about the difficulty in telling apart Fuchsia procumbens, which is a miniature carpet-forming fuchsia, and which is native to New Zealand, and Muehlenbeckia complexa, which is also native to New Zealand, and also carpet forming, but tends to spread a lot more aggressively. But actually, I think the key difference is that the Muehlenbeckia gets quite a lot taller. So in this case, I think this is the Muehlenbeckia.
This is massive. Look how big it is.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's huge. It's
testimony to its power.
Exactly. I mean, it's all around this entire massive rock formation. You've got New Zealand flax in here, which is the Māori used it for a lot of things. Kite bags, which they would carry things in, cook in with geothermal water, with geysers and things. They would cook within the kites that were made out of flaxes. So yeah, pretty cool actually. This whole section, pretty amazing. Loving it. What else have we got here? Oh, we've got a New Zealand native hebe, which you will often find at beach sides and things like that, and on the coastal areas.
Yeah, hebe's good choice if you need a tough plant, and they can tolerate quite harsh conditions in terms of being able to handle salt, also drought. Think about if they're naturally found in sandy soil in habitat a lot of the time, then they're going to be quite drought tolerant and therefore won't cope that well in clay soil. Also don't really get any problems with honey fungus. What I have noticed about hebes is there's a massive range on the market actually to buy, and there's quite a lot of variety between the different types. I was at the nursery yesterday and they were selling 22 types of hebe. Some of them were really quite low growing, the penguifolia, and my particular favourite at the minute, which is called James Sterling, which doesn't look like a hebe at all. It looks like a conifer. It's got a really nice bronzy colour. But then some of them are growing up to hip height and even to waist height. So I ended up buying a hebe Wiri Charm because I was looking for something kind of in the mid-layer, the shrub category. But yeah, huge genus of plants.
The weird thing is the smell that's emanating from up out of these plants is bringing back so many memories of the New Zealand bush. Any Kiwi that understands the New Zealand bush will understand exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to the smell. So yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, loads of stuff. Sheep Burr, I think this is called. This stuff. Yeah, pretty cool. What else have we got?
I guess in IRL,
in real life,
you wouldn't see them grouped together necessarily like this.
Oh yeah, you would.
Oh, you would?
Yeah.
So it's just literally like the
Some
bush.
of them you wouldn't. So this here is the red tussock grass. So you'd see that more on the mountains and hillsides, particularly because I grew up on the South Island. There was a lot of mountains that I grew up around, the Hunter Hills, the Southern Alps and that kind of thing. So you definitely see that in places like Otago and things like that. These kind of bushes here, you would definitely see just growing naturally in the bush. This is what New Zealand bush, some of New Zealand bush, particularly South Island, looks like. So yeah, no, definitely.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and they'd all be growing over each other and what have you. So yeah.
Cool. Should we explore the North Island?
We could explore the North Island. I'm assuming that's what's over here.
Correct.
So the first thing that's jumping out at me is the pittosporum or pittosporum, however somebody likes to say. But you've got more tussocks in there. This one, the Grisolina, it's classed as New Zealand privet, but I can tell you it's not like privet here, which gives me the sneezes. Oh, interestingly enough, this sounds like it's a type of pittosporum as well, which I haven't come across.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
Is
but I don't know. I've not seen it looking
It's
like
very
that.
atypical for pittosporum, but it is
Yeah.
a pittosporum. Face only a mother could love.
So, yeah. A lot of these I don't know, but excited. Mainly because probably I was an adult when I moved to Auckland, so even though my parents were from there. So yeah, there's a whole lot of plants that I don't know particularly well here.
Small one.
Yeah, that's not. I don't think that's not flax. That's Cordyline.
Yeah, I thought it was a flax, but then I saw the label.
But also, do you know why I know it's not flax? I can see how it's growing down the bottom. That tells me it's a Cordyline over a flax. But also it's different. The flax is different. It's quite broader and fatter and flatter. See, this kind of grows like that, whereas the flaxes are quite flat.
More floppier.
Yeah. So that's the flax there. And also see how it's growing out loads and loads and loads of different stems coming out of the ground, as opposed to the Cordyline, which is like one trunk, which ends up being an actual trunk. All that will happen with that is that it'll just get bigger, and it will also get these beautiful seed heads on them. I think the seed heads are amazing. And the tui of New Zealand, which is a kind of bird, makes a beautiful musical sound. They're quite often eating this nectar and seeds and stuff.
I've noticed that you tend to refer to the plants by their Māori names.
Correct.
So is that a general phenomena across New Zealand?
With some plants, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't, for example, get a New Zealander calling a tree fern a tree fern. You'd more likely, well, and in my experience, you'd more likely get them to call it a ponga. Same with things like the kōuka. I mean, the New Zealand flax, it would just be called a flax. So I think it depends what it is. It's possibly the influence from my Māori mum. But I do think it's, Dad still calls them by their Māori names more often, like the kauri and the totara and the panga and the and plants like that would definitely, pahutakawa, for example, which is a beautiful part of the myrtle family, which grows, it's called the New Zealand Christmas tree because it's got this bright red flowers. And yeah, a lot of them do get called by their Māori names, and I think a part of that is, if you look at, in general, in my experience anyway, the education of New Zealand, we are at school taught both Māori and English. At a certain point you stop learning Māori, or you can choose to carry on with it, but we're all taught Māori legend, Māori school, Māori language, maybe not fully conversational language, but definitely you ask if any New Zealander meets another New Zealander, like for example, when I went to the National Garden Scheme's gardener party last week, I bumped into a couple of New Zealanders, and the first thing I did was, for me to notify that I was a New Zealander too, was said kia ora, which is hello in Māori, or welcome, whatever.
And you would know they would know that?
Yeah, automatically.
given that
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their eyes lightened up. I was like, oh, another Kiwi, so.
Obviously you've been settled in the UK for ages now, like over 20 years.
Yeah, 22 years I've been here.
Yeah. But in that time, have you noticed the rise of New Zealand plants in the UK, like the use of them in the UK?
I'm going to say yes and no, but it's not for the reasons you think. Yeah, there's definitely been a rise in them, but I was surprised by the fact that when I landed here, how many things like Cordyline australis I would see growing places, how many ponga would be in places. There were so many different plants that I would see that were New Zealand plants, and I'd go, what? Like, again, when we went to the South London Botanical Institute a couple of weeks ago, one of the first things I saw when I went into the back garden was I looked up and saw the biggest kōwhai tree, not only that I'd seen in the UK, but I'd seen anywhere in New Zealand. Like, I'd never seen one that big. So yeah, it has surprised me, but I think it's the unusualness, the different kind of look, and also some of them do quite well in container pots as well, so you'll often see them in small London gardens and things like that, so yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think I talked to my dad about this actually, and I said, why are there so many here? And he said there was a company that no longer exists sadly, but quite a famous company in the day, 70s, 80s, called Duncan and Davies, and he's pretty sure that they actually had a big nursery over here and bought them over.
So are there any plants that you feel are obvious absentees over here? Like,
Oh.
to your knowledge, they could survive over here, but the British haven't really picked up on them?
I'm not sure if they'd cope or not. Maybe in some of the warmer parts of the UK, maybe the Fissitipula. I would love to see it here, but I'm not sure it would cope. Might be a bit not warm enough because it's more of a North Island tree than a South Island tree, which is warmer in the north. You can never have enough ponga. I think they're my favourite plant. The kura, which is the unfurled frond of the ponga, in Māori culture means new beginnings. And it is the one tattoo I have on my body to celebrate my Māori heritage. My Māori heritage is having the kora on my body.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even Air New Zealand has the kora on the back of the aeroplane. So the logo on the Air New Zealand planes is a kora, which is me. Māori heritage tattoo is really important because it, in traditional Māori culture, the tattoo is about telling the story of your life.
To what extent do you think your venture, Floralicious, is connected to your upbringing?
I think Floralicious is hugely connected to my upbringing, and I think there's a reason why I've tapped back into, it was two things actually that I was tapping back into. One was my love of plants and nature, but the other thing was, with having a job and a career, I'd kind of forgotten the creative side of myself. So I did photography, art and design at school. I did, for some of you that are younger, I did it in a thing called a dark room, which, but effectively I was doing photography on film. Sorry, that sounded condescending, I was just being silly. I learned how to photograph with a non-digital camera and do it in a dark room. And for me, photography and my creativity is something I wanted to tap back into again. I was really feeling the need to do that. So combining the upbringing of being brought up in a plant nursery, having horticultural parents, and then tapping into the creative side as well. And they work really well. I mean, art and culture and botany have been interlinked through the decades, centuries, haven't they? So yeah.
True.
So for me it was those two things, really, but all combined with the fact that if I was doing something that I loved, then my health would improve, which it has massively.
Yeah, well, that's
Massively.
That's really good.
Yeah, I'm back. Yay!
So, in terms of wrapping up, we've had a bumper day out at the Lullingstone Castle and the World Garden, as curated and often collected by Tom Hartdyke. Your virgin trip here.
It is.
Tell me, how's the day been? How have you enjoyed it? What have you particularly liked seeing?
What I've been impressed with the most is just the huge variety that Tom has collected from all over the world, and from what I understand he's done a lot of it personally himself, which is pretty amazing. I think when you and I walked into one of the first houses here, hothouse areas, we were both blown away and sort of like, this is like walking into Kew Gardens. Like, the collection is just extraordinary, so I cannot tell you how amazing it is. Yeah, that's probably, and obviously the New Zealand plants that I'm missing from home at the moment because I haven't been home for a while. So yeah, that's been pretty cool. What about you?
Well, I think I have been at this time of year before, because I've definitely been when the red hot pokers have been.
Oh,
but
yeah,
still,
they're pretty
every
cool.
time I come, I always see something different. It's been really nice this time to spend a lot of time in the australis polytunnel, which is not only Australia and New Zealand but also South America and South Africa, basically Southern Hemisphere. Yeah, and actually just coming here actually with Lena as well, and just having a different slant on it. And yeah,
it's more enjoyable going through plants and gardens with someone else, isn't it?
it's when they're really into it.
Yeah.
There's the other problem is someone trailing behind. I'm trailing behind.
Apologies to all my friends that constantly have to wait while I take, look at the photo of a plant. Stop.
Yeah, but no, it's been a really nice day.
Yeah, it has been a really cool day. I definitely recommend it. Even on the cold day that is, the 1 week day in the week for weeks that we've had broiling hot weather, today is a bit chilly, but even that, I don't care. It's been absolutely amazing. So definitely get yourselves here. Come and see Tom. He's cool. He's really knowledgeable. The team here is amazing, and I would definitely recommend it. Yeah.
Cool. All right, take care, guys. We'll
See you later.
next time.
Bye.